with loving pranams at Bhagwan's lotus feet. Sisters, brothers, and my young friends. So today is a very important topic in the sense that this particular topic which we have selected today is it requires a little bit of deeper understanding, primarily because it has a potential of being misrepresented, misunderstood, and often misused. So it's very important for us to first identify what's the purpose of a miracle, how is it that we should take it in our daily life, what is its purpose in the avatar's mission, and what purpose does it serve in our journey towards the goal that we have in mind. I would like to share with you two contrasting incidents, both of which are definitely by any yardstick, manifestations of the divine's will. However, the consequences that they had were different based on how they were received. And that is the key point which we will be spending time on today. The outcome of an apparent miracle or an outpouring of love by the divinity depends entirely upon how it is received, not about how it is delivered. Bhagwan's delivery of the miracle has a single purpose, and we will come to it shortly. But the way it is received decides the outcome of how that miracle happens. I remember once I had gone on some official work to one city, wherein some alumni discovered that I had been there. So they came and they took me out. They said, "Sir, let's have a get together. We will just catch up with our reminiscence of the time that we spent at Bhagwan's lotus feet in Parthi." But before that, they wanted to take me to a devotee's house where Vibhuti was profusely manifesting itself from Bhagwan's photographs. So I was interested. I said, "Yes, let's go." But at the outset, based on my own interactions with Bhagwan, I was always a little apprehensive when these kind of miracles were made public and it was unnecessarily attracting too much of crowd. I had my own apprehensions about it. But nevertheless, it's fascinating to see Bhagwan's outpouring of love at any point of time. So we went to this person's house. There was profuse amount of vibhuti pouring from literally every photograph of Bhagwan that was there on the altar. So I was overwhelmed. The fragrance was overpowering. So I bowed down to the feet of Bhagwan. And as I was going past that side, I was surprised to see the owner of the house sitting in a chair next to the altar with his lungi folded up like this. He was expecting me to take Pad Namaskar there. I just walked past him. Now this is a display I had to share with you because it actually happened. And it left a very bitter taste in my mouth. My first impression would have been, for example, if somebody is a recipient of Bhagwan's grace, humility is the first feeling that should have overcome us. It is not a feeling that we have been blessed, we are specially selected, we are specially identified, we are angels dropped out. No, those kind of feelings are, once again, like I said, they are bound by ego, which is a totally alien character, nature in our character. It is not what we are. It's an alien nature to us. See, if that is the impression that has come out, obviously the miracle and the outpouring of love has not been received in the right way. A contrasting incident, once again, another outpouring of love from Bhagwan. There was a family that was going through a very severe traumatic time because one of the family members was admitted in the hospital. There was a serious medical problem for which a diagnosis was just not being made. The doctors tried everything possible, but a perfect diagnosis to commence the course of treatment was just not happening. So the family was worried, the doctors also were worried. So they brought in a specialist from out of town, and that person asked for a bedside X-ray, and the family was praying hard to Swami. In fact, I remember one of the family members even the patient himself saying, "See, if a diagnosis cannot be performed, if I'm not destined to live, why don't you pray to Swami to take me away?" Because see, I am suffering, everybody around me is suffering, it is not well. So at least, pray for that for Swami. So that was the dire circumstances in which the family was finding itself in. So the family was praying to Swami to do something. Nobody likes a family member talking like that. Nobody is happy with it. So they started praying to Swami, Swami, please help us, we need your help. Whatever is your decision, Swami, we are ready to accept it. But please help us, plus please guide us through this thing. So the technician came with the bedside X-ray machine, and the X-ray was done. Now this was one of the most famous of hospitals in the city. Any kind of religious or spiritual outpouring is totally alien. It is restricted to certain fixed designated spots. So that person came, took the X-ray, and when he went out, obviously when the X-ray is taken, everybody is asked to go out. So we went out, and when the people came in, they suddenly found that there was a photograph of Swami exactly where the X-ray machine was. Inexplicable. It's totally inexplicable. So the newfound hope came up in them, and as it turned out, the reports were taken, the doctor immediately arrived at a diagnosis, treatment commenced, and the patient got discharged after a few days. Now, why did I narrate these two instances to begin the talk with? Both, let us not forget it, both were certainly outpourings of divine love. They were manifestations of his enormous love that he has for the devotees. In the first instance, it had repercussions that were not very tasty, definitely not very conducive for spiritual progress. In the second instance, they led to very lovely outcomes which made many people happy and cherish their association with Bhagavan. So it is very important, therefore, about miracles in our life, no doubt about it. If we cannot find a logical human explanation for it, 100% they are manifestations of the divine love for us. What is more important is not to question the authenticity of the miracle, but how we receive it. Because how we receive it will decide how we are going to benefit from it spiritually, not materially. So this is a context on which I would like to take off my talks with. We now come to the significant question: what role do miracles play in a spiritual journey? First of all, why does the avatar give us these experiences? So we will go through this a little bit more, and we will understand one underlying truth about miracles. Anybody can give any explanation for it, but in my understanding of this entire situation, miracles from Bhagavan always have only one purpose. They are meant to teach us something. They are meant to teach us something. They are meant to make us recorrect, make course corrections, and then progress on our spiritual path once again. That is their only significance. Anything else is incidental. Like somebody has suddenly become from poor to wealthy, somebody has suddenly regained their lost health. Those are all incidental. But the only purpose Bhagavan chooses to manifest his divine love for us in the form of miracles is only one: make us learn, reorient our vision, and travel on the spiritual path. So therefore, we will understand from this that miracles are there for a purpose. In fact, to go further, Swami has often said, miracles are my visiting cards. Visiting cards, what is the purpose of a visiting card? I'm in a conference, right? So I meet some peers with whom I think I can develop a network for my business beneficiary. So I take out my card. This is my card. Please get in touch with me. The purpose of the card when we give it is, this is my card. Don't forget to get in touch with me. Invariably, all of us use that. We don't say, this is my card. Please use it for warming your toast. Right? We say, this is my card. Please get in touch with me. These are my coordinates. Right? What is there in that? Our address is there. Our phone number is there. Our email is there. Our company's name is there. So miracles are exactly that. Whenever a miracle hits us, Swami is basically giving us his coordinates. Bangaru, I'm here. Don't forget me. Get in touch with me. For the person who has directly received the miracle, as well as for those of us who enjoy watching the miracle, the purpose is the same. These are my coordinates. Bangaru, do not forget to get in touch with me. Get in touch with me. That is what it means. That's why Swami chose the word very aptly. Miracles are my visiting cards. So, This should also be understood. Whenever we see a miracle or hear a miracle, we understand that is their purpose. Get in touch with me, get in touch with me, get in touch with me. That is all the message is repeatedly trying to tell us. And of course, yesterday's talk I had covered extensively. Getting in touch with me, touch with him is, of course, going to temples, going to retreats is one part of it. But at the bottom line of it, all of this should make us look inwards. Get in touch with me here. Get in touch with me here. So instead of that, we start sending details, dissecting and post-morting the miracle. Why this person had the miracle? Why not that person had a miracle? Why Swami did only this? Why only Vibhuti, Amrutam could have come? Why this photo, the photo on the left looks better? I mean, I've heard these kind of discussions happening. That is why I'm sharing these things. And it sounds so ridiculous. Like yesterday in the car we were discussing, I said, see, we are missing the forest for the trees. So I remember once a very interesting interaction I had with Bhagwan. Hostel had what we call as a wisdom wall. As the name suggests, we used to put up discourses of Bhagwan. Somebody had a very interesting anecdote to share, we would put it up. Some interesting facts about Bhagwan's avataric mission. All these things and some nice photographs of Bhagwan. We had some excellent photographers among the students who would take photographs and would display those photographs on the notice board. So, quotations of Bhagwan, things which will basically help us to spiritually regenerate ourselves, that used to come on the wisdom wall. So once a photograph was displayed there wherein Swami was holding an enormous ring. It happened in Kodaikanal. Swami had materialized that ring. And the caption below said that this ring belonged to Kamsa. And Swami apparently when he materialized the ring, he said this ring belonged to Kamsa. See, I'm getting it for you so that you people can all see it. So far so good. Then some wise gentlemen who had been to Kodaikanal in earlier trips, they said, but in our trip, Swami materialized this and they said it belonged to Ravana. Same ring. How do you know? Did you measure it? Maybe both of them use the same ring, who knows? But what is the purpose of questioning, why 2 years back when Swami materialized, he said this belonged to Ravana, now he is saying this is Kamsa's, questions, answers going on. So, when I came, they asked, sir, do you know? I said, I know, I never even thought about this idea. For him, materialized the ring, I'm more interested in why he materialized it. What is the lesson behind it? I'm not interested in the ring. So that's why I never thought about it. So, but it was still going through my mind. It was still going through my mind. Apparently, this is a very logical question which students ask. Tomorrow, if I go out and somebody else outside gets his hand on the same pictures, he is likely to ask me the same question, right? You are Swami's student, right? You should tell me why this is discrepancy appearing here. So I had to prepare myself with it. So I just tickled with the idea. I didn't know what to do. I said, Swami is the best person to ask. Let him solve the mystery. So once I got an opportunity in the afternoon, nobody was there. Swami M. Samacharam, he started. So I told Swami, this wisdom ball, this ring was displayed. So Swami said, so what? I said, Swami, but it seems 2 years back, some boy said that you materialized the same ring. And it seems you said that time that it belonged to Ravana. So who does this ring really belong to? Swami looked at me very cryptically and said, why are you so concerned? Is it yours? Very cryptic, you see that laconic, cryptic answers of his, they don't encourage any further discussion. You can make out that he has no interest in talking about it. No, but I kept quiet. But Chiranjeev Rao Garu, who was sitting there, was made of a different stuff altogether. He wouldn't let go. So he said, Swami, these are the type of questions which people ask us. So, Swami, we have to equip ourselves, at least we should know that we are not giving the wrong answer. Why is it that you have these kind of materializations happening in the first place and then, explanations don't seem to tally? What do we tell? And Swami, because Chiranjeev Rao Garu, like I said, he had a different relation with Bhagwan. Perhaps he had a greater spiritual awakening than me, so Swami chose to answer him. So Swami's question was, I would like to read this out because I noted it in my diary. Materializations are just a means to attract your attention. Visiting cards, like I already said. To attract your attention. There is a far greater miracle that I want to perform on each of you. But sadly, everyone gets stuck with the materializations and do not want to know what I really want to give them. That is moksha itself. liberation from all these worldly things. I remember Swami telling us a story of how, you have to give a medicine to a baby, the baby runs away. A child runs away. So what does a mother or father do? They put a chocolate to entice the kid and hide the medicine behind. So the moment the child comes to grab the medicine, it's a chocolate, grab and dump the medicine into the mouth. So moksha is very, very unpalatable for many of us who are caught up in this worldly existence. It's very unpalatable. Some of us in today's context of world don't even want to discuss that. Hey, what old-fashioned things you're talking, man, they tell us. But that is the ultimate reality of life. That is where we have to go. Whether you like it or not, moksha is what is waiting for us. Nothing else is waiting. They all fall away. That is the only thing that's waiting for us, but we don't want to discuss it. So Swami said, that is what I really want to do. Getting you from here to moksha is the greatest miracle I'm waiting to perform on you, but you're not interested. I'm not able to get your attention. So materializations are basically to make us take Bhagwan's attention. So I did not have the question I already had clammed up because Swami had made it obvious he's not going to answer this with me. But Chiranjeevi Garu continued further. Swami, then why do you have to create things like watches and bracelets? If moksha is what you're waiting to give us, why are you going on giving these things? So then Swami said, once again, he emphasized, when I give a person any kind of a ring, bracelet, or do perform some miracle, it because has a specific purpose. Once that purpose is served, the miracle has no further meaning or role. It's done. So just like I said yesterday, the environment is created until we are able to understand that there is some fault in us. A miracle also goes on coming into our life until we understand that a greater miracle is waiting for us there. After that, all these miracles do not carry any significance to us. Because we begin to focus on what is going beyond the miracle. So Swami then continued, for all the people, the existence or the interaction first begins at this human level with Bhagwan, at the physical level. So I have to talk in a language that is comprehensible at this physical level, right? In a tone in which it is digestible in this physical level. So that's why Swami said to bring them closer, I create these material things. But there are so many others. Swami in fact told it many times in Prasanthi Nilayam itself, there are many people who maintain a spiritual contact with Bhagwan. Swami said for them, none of these materializations make any sense whatsoever. They're not even interested about it. He said that in Prasanthi Nilayam in those days itself he mentioned there are people who are of that caliber as well. So then Chiranjeevi Garu again continued further. Swami, then there are people who will be tempted. These are very attractive things you are doing. The miracles are so enjoyable. They have come to us with a revelation, that God exists with such a startling reality that wouldn't we want to stay in this physical level and keep enjoying these things instead of progressing further? Swami's answer was, Jagat Guru, that's why he is called. Swami said, see, the journey begins at this physical level. That is true. Right? And as long as you're in the physical level, you are bound by some material vasanas. So therefore, these are ailments in the spiritual growth. So I have to cure these things, I have to give some medicines. But these medicines are meant only for the ailments at this physical existence only. Once these ailments are cured, these medicines do not carry any further purpose. So miracles are therefore meant for those of us who want to realize God and who are still in this material plane of existence. But after every miracle, that's why I've started my talk by saying how we receive it. Reception of a miracle is very, very important. How do we receive it? Because we have to keep focusing, feel humility and keep seeing beyond the purpose. So until we are cured of these material vasanas, like the environment keeps coming to our rescue all the time to highlight our mistakes in us, miracles also will keep coming in our lives these times to keep cautioning us, visit me, look me up, look me up, look me up. They'll keep coming on and on like that. So this is the main purpose of why the miracles happens. And second thing is very important here because we know of Shirdi Sai Baba's famous story. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. When a devotee was in Shirdi in those days, he came down with an upset stomach. So Shirdi Sai Baba calls him and gives him a handful of peanuts and tells, have it, everything will be cured. Now doctors who are here will be aghast, how can you give peanuts for an upset stomach? It's going to be making it more problematic. But this person believed in Bhagwan, explicitly took the peanuts and he came bouncing back the next day. So another devotee also had the same problem of having upset his stomach. He said, oh, Shirdi Sai Baba gave him peanuts, they worked, I should also take it. He took it and he landed in the hospital. Then he goes to Shirdi Sai Baba and asks, how come peanuts worked for him and not for me? And Shirdi Sai Baba tells him, oh Murkha, it is not the peanuts, it's the hand that gave the peanuts. So miracles are like that. Interpretations will vary based upon our spiritual level of progress, number one. And number two, miracles come into a person's life based on where in the journey of spirituality that person is. So it is not that the same thing why a miracle has happened for this person should happen to everybody. So when that kind of expectations begin, the miracle is totally distorted in why it has come. I remember that's why Bhagwan was also very, very good at tailoring a miracle or a situation in such a way that it gave different lessons to different people at the same time. So we'll come to it a little. In fact, the very funny incident is there, which I will narrate you shortly. But before that, I don't know how many of you know of the great singer P. Susila, right? I think everybody would have heard. There's literally every language in which that great artist has sung bhajans and songs in. So she was a great devotee of Bhagwan. So Swami had gone to Chennai, and whenever he visits Chennai, he used to go to her house and Anjali Devi's house, the actress's house. So Swami had gone to P. Susila's house, and there, obviously she invited everybody who is who in the film field which she was in terms with, and they all came to have Bhagwan's darshan. And once they were there, Atreya was a famous music composer. Okay, and he brought a young man to Swami, and he said, Swami, this person came, he was very interested in spirituality, so he wanted to have your darshan, I brought him. So Swami said, Bangaru Manchidi, he blessed him, and they all stood, as Swami was leaving, they all stood in line. So Swami started giving vibhuti packets to all the people as he was going. Just when he crossed this person, Swami took the vibhuti packet back. And Swami said he doesn't take vibhuti. And then Swami materialized his hand and created Tiruchurnam. And he gave him, take this, he said. And that person started weeping and falling at Swami's feet. He was a Sri Vaishnavite. So Vibhuti is a mark of Shaivites, Shiva. Sri Vaishnavites don't touch, strict to Sri Vaishnavites, they don't touch Vibhuti. So, but Swami knew it. Nobody knew it, Swami knew it. And that is when, that's why I said that Swami knows who needs what at what time. Now see, this person interpreted it rightly, but somebody else who is seeing can interpret it wrongly. Why is Swami bringing religion into the whole thing? Vibhuti is his prasadam, everybody should accept. Unfortunate discussions which happen, judging of people. We are nobody to judge people. Swami decides, this person, if I give Tiruchurnam at this time, his spiritual progress is going to be much faster, so he will give it. That's it. We have to take it in that spirit and leave it there. That is when the impact of the miracle hits us. Otherwise, all kind of meandering discussions start, which like the yesterday's Gold Coast River, which we went, it went round, ultimately landed in the sea. So that's what happens to all discussions, if we don't see the purpose about where the miracle is. But one hilarious incident that happened with me personally was how Swami tailors situations so that it suits the individual. He knows what the individual needs, and all the situations and experiences he creates are exactly for addressing that situation and the progress of that person. Chenna Reddy was the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, a very powerful politician. It is rumored that he is one of the only two people alive at that time who told Indira Gandhi to mind her business. Nobody dared do that to Indira Gandhi, and both of them were Telugu people, by the way. Both of them were Telugu people who told, Indira Gandhi herself to mind her business. Chenna Reddy was one of them. He was a very powerful politician. He had enormous power centered in his hand, political clout and all that. He could make or break a career just like that. But he was also a very big devotee of Bhagwan. So he would frequently come, he was the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh at that time, and he would frequently come to have Bhagwan's darshan. And Swami would put him up at the VIP guest house, which happened to be in Poonchhandra Auditorium. Green rooms are there, where Swami shifted in 1993. So VIP rooms were there, and Swami had sent one brother and myself to go and look after him. Mr. Shauri was anyway there. So 3 of us used to look after all the VIPs who would come there, take care of their needs, make sure, that messages from Swami were conveyed to them. Basically make sure that we were by default the host on behalf of Swami for these people. So it was happening like that, and then once he had come back from darshan, he retired to his quarters inside, and we were just winding up and cleaning up because Mr. Channareddy would now relax. He would be inside the inner room where he would, obviously files and all would be there, his personal assistants were there, that he converted it to some kind of an office. So he would check files and all those things. Nobody would disturb him, only his executive assistants, and he would be there. He strictly instructed that nobody should disturb him. Because it's an ashram, he didn't want it to be converted to his office. But the chief minister still has urgent work, so that he would attend to that there. Now he was doing that and we were outside. Then all of a sudden, there was a massive banging on the door. Very loud. It's almost like the door started shaking at the hinges. That loudly it was banging. And somebody was pushing and banging, like as if it was his birthright, to enter there. And, I didn't know what to do, so I just slightly opened the door to see who it was, and I went out. There was one unmistakably political figure. They have attire and aura around them, where you can recognize miles away. So he was standing there. And, Sevadal were pleading with him. And the worst thing was, he had his footwear with him. He was right outside, he was standing on the hallowed grounds where Bhagwan himself walks, and he was right outside the doors of Poonachandra Auditorium with his footwear. And the Sevadal was pleading with him that, sir, you cannot come here, please come and sit here, we'll give you a chair, we'll inform inside, and please also remove your footwear. This place you should not wear your footwear. He just wouldn't listen, very haughty. So I went and I told him that, sir, kindly, there's a waiting hall inside, you please sit there. Plus, please remove your slippers and come, sir. This is hallowed ground where Swami walks. Please respect our sentiment and remove the footwear and come. I was very polite with him. And this person said, I have to meet the chief minister. You people don't know who I am. That's an irritable dialogue, which you hear frequently. You don't know who I am? Arre boss, I myself don't know who I am. How will I know who you are? We are all on the spiritual journey. Right? But you crack such dialogues with them, it doesn't go down well, usually. So I said, sir, I understand your issue, sir. You can meet him, but he's inside the room and we have to tell his assistants that you have come. So please, there's a sofa here, there's a cool place there, you sit there. Give me your slippers, sir. I will keep the slippers and come because we cannot have you wearing your slippers here. I'm ready to carry your slippers, you give me. Then he just brushed me aside and he walked inside the Poonachandra Auditorium with his slippers. The other brother was a 6-footer, very hefty, and he was standing near the inner door. He was watching how I was being treated. So this person, he just came in, looked around, understood that he had to go that side. He went straight and bumped into the other person. And that person couldn't be budged easily. So he just stood like this. But he had seen enough, so he just shouted loudly, sir, will you remove your slippers and come, or shall I complain to the chief minister about your indiscipline? Now, if Mr. Channareddy finds out that somebody had displeased Bhagwan's customs in Prasanthi Nilayam, that person's career is gone. That fellow ran for his life, removed his slippers and came back. Afterwards, of course, he met the chief minister and he went off. We also thought, okay, matter solved, everything over. And that evening, Mr. Channareddy left. We cleaned up the place, everything was done. And morning, we dispersed. This brother was a bhajan singer. So he went into the bhajan hall. In the morning, all the students were away at college. And those of us who had finished our studies and doing door duty, bhajan singing, etc., we were the only ones there. So General Chibbar and a few elders were seated on the upper portico, and I was seated outside. This brother was inside the bhajan hall. So Swami came out about 15 minutes before the bhajan began. He looked around, some elders were seated on the veranda, and he said, Channareddy came yesterday. Swami was very excited. They said, yes, Swami, we saw him. He was here till evening and he left. Yes, but do you know that something very interesting happened? Then they were immediately, their ears pricked up. They said, what happened, Swami? Then Swami said, tell them. So I didn't know what Swami was talking about. So I just went up close to Swami and said, Swami, what? He said, slippers, chapulu. So slippers are interesting, that incident, according to Swami. So I told Swami, this is what happened. And Swami said, what did you do? I said, Swami, I tried pleading with him. He is not listening. So finally I told, sir, you give me your slippers. I will carry your slippers and I will keep it there. Swami said, see, this is why I like my boys so much. Look at their humility. They're ready to carry other slippers also. I started taking off into air. Getting praised by Swami is not such a small thing. And he brought me down crashing, with a bang. He said, but Bangaru, I will give you one advice. If you keep talking softly and politely like that to everybody, people will swallow you like a papad. Once in a while, you must be very aggressive and, use this kind of tone. Otherwise, you cannot survive in this world. I said, okay, Swami. Then Swami walked around, went inside the bhajan all this time. This brother was there, the other brother, and there were some VIPs, elders who were there, who were waiting for the bhajans to start. Swami went, same conversation. Then those poor souls had no idea about the conversation outside. They couldn't hear. They had no clue. So Swami went, Chenna Reddy had come. Yes, Swami, we saw him. Something very interesting happened. What happened, Swami? Then he told, look at this boy, tell them. Then again this boy looked, what interesting, Swami? Slippers, Chippulu. So then he narrated the whole thing. Then this time Swami said, what did you do? He said, Swami, I saw the way this person behaved with Sainath, so I told very strictly, sir, will you go out and remove your slippers or should I complain to the Chief Minister? And that person ran out. Swami said, see, this is why I like my boys. Discipline is very important for them. They don't mind raising their voice and being strict, if they have to enforce the discipline. Same, he also started taking off. Swami crashed him down and said, Bangaru, I'll give you one very good advice. With everybody, if you're going to shout and scream like that, nobody will want to talk to you. Once in a while, you should speak softly and nicely. In 10 minutes, same incident, 2 different lessons to 2 different people. And if 10 lessons have to be given, I'm sure he would have managed that also. He would have managed it easily, effortlessly. So the beauty of it is that one apart from the laughter aspect of it, which echoed after we exchanged notes and we understood this is what happened, and General Chibbar was tickled so pink, that he was laughing till evening. Evening also when he saw me seated there, Arey bhai, subah kya ho gaya? And he started laughing. Arey man, what happened in the morning? And he started laughing. It was so hilarious, how Swami managed the entire situation. But if we think deeply and see, Swami used a same experience, to drive home 2 lessons which 2 different individuals required. I required to be told that it is okay to be strict and act tough when the situation demands it. To Kim, he was told that is not the only way, you must also learn to act soft and polite when the situation demands. So that is why I said that when a miracle or an experience occurs, people will have different points of view. We need to respect it, we need to accept it. But the bottom line of all of this is, there is some lesson which is there, which we must all accept and learn. So it's a very, very important thing that we need to have this in mind. So the greatest pitfall in the miracles and materializations are basically, so few pitfalls occur. One is, of course, to understand that miracles are all divinity is capable of. I don't know whether I'm getting this point across. When we say that, if a miracle has happened, we say, wah, wah, this is God, this is God, this is God. Or anybody who performs a miracle will say, my God, what a great realized soul he is. Understood? Basically attaching miracles to divinity directly. We think that divinity means, if somebody has done a miracle or exposition like this, it must be divine. This is where a greatest pitfall happens over here. I remember in the first few days of the MBA course programs, they were very fortunate, the first batch of MBA students. Every Sunday, Swami would call them to the audio-visual room. And he would give a discourse to them about business matters and something like that. More than the discourse, of course, it was a quality 1.5 hours times that he would spend with us. One day when he was talking about something, he told all of us, a few teachers and some of us who used to speak in the foyer on a regular basis, we were also called for that, so we managed to sneak in. So Swami was talking and then he said, boys, all of you be alert because I'm going to perform an experiment now in which all of you will be involved. So we immediately became alert. So Swami, photographs exist of this, by the way. There are photographs of this entire episode, but I've been trying to track the video, though I've not been able to get it. But it was recorded by someone. So photographs are there of this. So Swami waved his hand and a big medallion appeared in Swami's hand. It was a medallion with Swami's photograph in enamel in the center, and it had 3 layers of 3 different precious stones all around it. And Swami told, all of you observe this very, very carefully. An experiment is in progress. So, all of us started looking, and it was given to Dr. Kailash Kumar, who was our English professor at that time, a retired lieutenant colonel in the Indian Army. He did his PhD and he joined as a faculty. So he started taking around to everyone. We saw all of us studied to the minutest details. And then Swami sent it back, and Swami said, all of you have seen? We said, yes, Swami. Then he put it in front of our eyes and blew it on it. And this time he said, now take a look. The entire medallion had changed. The shape had changed. The precious stones had gone. They were replaced by something else. And the design of the entire pendant had gone. All this right in front of our eyes. Oh, we were all so stunned, and I said, wow, what an astounding display of divinity, and all those things we started. After everybody, and invariably that was a reaction. What enormous power display divinity is capable of, and all that. And Swami caught it back and he said, so you all think this is divinity? We said, yes, Swami. Swami said, this has nothing to do with the divinity. This has nothing to do with divinity. I can train each one of you to do exactly what I did just now. It's not at all difficult. He said it's not at all difficult. Swami said these materializations, transfigurations, transmutations, all these things are a part of what in Siddhanta it is called as Ashtasiddhis. And he said anyone who is deeply into the meditation and the spiritual path will get this Ashtasiddhis automatically. You don't have to work for it, they'll come. But the pitfall comes when many people think that this is the divine power, and they get so attracted and attached to these Ashtasiddhis that they get stuck there. Swami said Ashtasiddhis are like the signpost. Like signpost yesterday I told you, when we cross Kottacheruvu, we know how we are nearing Puttaparthi. Kottacheruvu is not Puttaparthi. Puttaparthi is separate. Ashtasiddhis, Swami said, are like signposts. They will automatically come if you are on the path to divinity. But you should not stop there and get yourself to confuse that this is divinity. That is not. Divinity is far beyond that. If you practice pure brahmacharya, Swami said, each one of you can do exactly what I did just now. So it's a very important thing to know that let us not confuse these miracles and manifestations. Yes, divinity is one of the powers is to be able to do this. That is not the only power divinity is capable of. There are 2 different things over here. So the discussion unfortunately warrants this kind of an explanation, because many times we do think that this is what it is. So it's very, very important for us to understand this particular difference. And of course, like yesterday, so as long as we are having these Ashtasiddhis, Swami's very powerful statement was, you are only still human beings with special powers. You are still foundering in the world of Maya and this world. You are nowhere near divinity. So even those who have this Ashtasiddhis with them, who claim that they can materialize things and other things in with them through magic or whatever else it is, Swami very clearly said they are still human beings with special powers. They are still floundering on this earth with the cloak of Maya around them. That's a very clear statement Swami made. So divinity therefore is far beyond this. It's something which we need to understand. So an important daily sadhana therefore is to experience these miracles but have our eyes on the Creator and not the creation. Yesterday we had spent considerable time on that, but I'd like to spend a little more time on this and share a few more experiences regarding this. So when we begin to see the physics of the miracle, we are only responding to our sensory perceptions. We are not experiencing the joy or the feelings of our heart. So the true purpose of a miracle is sensed by the heart, by the spiritual heart. What the sensory perceptions tell us is, for example, what we are seeing, what we are hearing, what we are sensing by touch. Those are all sensory perceptions. They are only telling us a physical magnitude of what we are seeing. That's it. The purpose of that, what we are seeing, is felt by the spiritual heart. We need to listen to that as well. That when it doesn't happen, the entire magnanimity or the magnitude of what the miracle manifestation or the experience doesn't sink into us. So therefore, when Bhagwan, especially when we were there, this mistake was made very regularly. where we were hearing him, but we were not listening to him. I hope the difference is clear. We are hearing him, but we were not listening to him. So, we were looking at him, but we were not really seeing him. We were touching him, but we were not really feeling him. So these are different things that happen, because there's a clear thing about a sensory perception that tells us about the physical magnitude of what we are experiencing, but there's also a spiritual heart which also tells us what is the purpose of what we are feeling. So that both of them have to combine together if the complete thing has to come to us. Otherwise, this is what happens. We end up hearing, but not listening, and all those kind of things. There's a particular episode in my life with Bhagwan which I will never forget, because I made possibly the biggest blunder of my life with Bhagwan was made here, in this incident. I still regret why I was not more alert, but in retrospect, if you see, normally if I was more alert at this point of time, if I was not alert, it has to be his will, for whatever reason. I can't really tell that this is the way it happened and all that. 2002 Brindavan summer course was over. Usually what used to happen was Bhagwan would bless all the students, Parthi boys. 29th or 30th, the valedictory of the summer course would be held. And the very next morning, all the boys would get into the buses, those who have to go to Parthi, and they would leave for Parthi. And I would go inside, take Swami's permission, and Swami, I'm leaving with the boys because classes are beginning on 1st, so I'll go. And in case Swami had to send some things to Parthi, because he would almost immediately follow. And he would tell, my car is going, you take these things and put it in Poonchandra and you go. If nothing is there, he would bless me and tell, I'll go with the boys. And he would tell when he is coming so that we can keep things ready and all that. And so this time when I went, for some strange reason, he ignored me. So valedictory was over, I went inside, stood in the Trai Brindavan lawns. Swami saw me and he diverted his route and he went off somewhere else. Now, there were two ways he could enter Trai Brindavan. One is through the front door and one is through the side door. So I was standing near the main door, thinking he would come there. He diverted his attention, went up through the side door. So I lost the opportunity to ask him anything. So next morning, the buses were leaving. Once again, I went and stood inside Trai Brindavan lawns to ask him. Once again, he ignored me and he went away. So then the buses left and I went and approached Mr. Narsimurthy. I asked him, sir, what do I do? Buses have left and Swami is not telling me. He said, you do one thing, Babu, you go inside Trai Brindavan and stand there. He will answer. So this time when I went there and he stood me, he just nodded like this and he went off. Again he didn't talk to me. Now this is most unusual of Swami. He knew that I had to go. He was a very, very strict disciplinarian, because if classes begin, it's my duty to teach. If I don't go, classes will not happen and students will suffer. So Swami used to be very, very particular that you should discharge your duties and you should make sure that you are setting an example for others. This is the most unusual Swami, and I should have known that something was up. I was just not registering it. My mind was set, classes are beginning, I have to go. Classes are beginning, I have to go. Why I was not answering the question, why is Swami not talking to me? Then 31st got over, then Mr. Narsimurthy said, see, some Balavikas teachers conference was there on 1st and 2nd. Maybe Swami wants you to stay back and see that. We don't know, it's unusual, but maybe that's what he wants. Why don't you just wait till 1st and 2nd is over? You have made your attempt, Swami is not responding. I said, okay sir, I'll wait. So 1st was over, 2nd was over, Balavikas conference got over, people dispersed all over the country, they went away. And this time what happened was, again I went and stood in the lawns of Trai Brindavan. Again Swami ignored me. I was beginning to panic now. Classes had begun on 1st. This is now 4 days over. Swami is not telling me anything, what to do. So I went and told Mr. Narsimurthy, sir, what to do, and I'm beginning to get worried. And I said, there's only one way, Babu. Swami goes to have his lunch in the 1st floor. From his room is this side, lunch room is that side. In between there's a staircase. So he said, you go up to 1st floor and stand there. I said, maybe Swami will not like it. You have been there many times, Swami won't know if you are there. He knows it's important. You go and stand there. So I went and stood there. Swami finished his lunch. He came out. He saw me and he just stopped like that and stared at me like that. That look was something I've never seen in Swami. It was not anger. It was something else. And then he slowly came towards me with a great sadness. He said, Veltunava, are you leaving? I said, yes, Swami, classes have started, I have to go. I thought you will see everything and go. Look at the word. I thought you will see everything and go. Now, this is the great power of Maya. What is there to see? Validity of summer course is over, classes have begun, the function of Balavika's teachers is over. I should have known that Swami was talking about something else. I just had to patiently wait and watch. I had no patience. I said, no, Swami, classes have begun. He just gave a deep sigh like that and he said, okay, go. And he gave me namaskar. And then I asked him, Swami, when are you coming? Swami said, looked at like that, soon. He said, and he sent me away. This was in 2002 June. I just reached Parthi. The very next day, afternoon, morning I went to school. 9:30, Dilip called me. He said, come back to Poonachandra Auditorium urgently. I need you here. So I went running. He was busy packing. Swami had slipped in the washroom and he had fallen. And Swami didn't ask for me to come. He told Dilip to come. వాడి క్లాసులు ఉంటాయి వాడిని రావద్దని చెప్పండి. Let him stay in Poonachandra and look after the place. Tell Dilip to come. So I never forgot that incident because it is a very heavy price I paid that day because I was hearing but I was not listening. Because of the disconnect between what was happening in my sensory perception and what was happening in my heart. So that was the main problem that happened that day, which I saw, and of course I regret that decision even to today. Maybe if I had stayed back, Swami's physical body would have possibly been far more comfortable because Satyajit, myself and Dilip, all three would have been looked after Swami. Maybe it would have been better. So all this kind of answers plague and haunt me even to this day. But it is done. I paid the price for it, for being distracted in a moment in the divine presence. So while I had a physical evidence of paying a very, very heavy price for the distraction, in real life, generally, most of us don't suffer this kind of an issue. But what I wish to highlight here is we are still paying a price which we are not seeing at the moment. It will come later. When we distract ourselves from feeling with our heart whatever we are seeing so that the reception of the incident or the experience is correctly done. As long as we do not bring our heart into that, our perception is not going to be the right way. As long as we try to sense it with our sensory organs, the perception is totally different, not intended. What is not intended, that's what will happen. And therefore, sometimes, of course, this is a serious incident. I don't want to end these sessions with serious incidents. I'll go to something light-hearted. But the same message about how we forget in whose presence we are and start focusing more on the form and the physical and forget who the real entity in whose presence we are. Now, once when we were students and we were seated there, suddenly a news came, that a snake was found in the first floor of balcony of Swami's residence. He was above the bhajan hall in those days. So the news came, that a snake was found in the balcony. There are some items, which are kept in the balcony there, like old clothes and other things, which Swami keeps distributing and other things. So God knows where this snake had gone and hidden. So, Swami told a few of us boys, to Vednarayan sir was there, Piyush was there, 2-3 Brindavan students were there. And Swami told, Nukudara, you also come. So we started hunting for the snake upstairs. How big is a snake? We don't know. What is that snake? We don't know. Now, when you are going to look for a snake about which you have no clue, you better be careful. It can be anything. So we were very carefully, one by one, we were removing the items and searching. And, after, obviously the snake was not being found anywhere. So then the door opened and Swami came to see what is happening. So he was cool, very cool. So he put his hand like this, he was gliding on the thing and he was looking here and there and he came towards me. Now there was a big basket over there in which Swami's robes would be put, which had to be gone for washing. So in that basket, the robes were there, and that was pressed against the wall. It is a pretty huge basket. So I was a little hesitant. Maybe it is behind that. Should I do it alone? So I was just watching it like that, like this, and Swami came exactly near the basket. No sound, very silent. He came like this, slowly he came like this near me and stood very close to me. Suddenly he said, there it is. I caught Swami and I jumped on the other side. And Swami was, holding the basket and laughing, pointing at me like this. And then Swami said, నాగాభరణుడే ఇక్కడ ఉంటే నాగం ఏం చేస్తుందిరా నిన్ను మర్చిపోయావా, he said. When the Nagabharana himself is here, what will the Naga do to you? Did you forget that? So ultimately, of course, the snake was never found. But it also told me something very interesting. You know, see, when you go to it a little more deeper, see, when the master of Maya himself is there, instead of asking Sharana from him, why are we going on playing with Maya instead? So this is a very important thing, you know, about how many times we keep forgetting in whose presence we are. And we start focusing more instead on what that presence is doing. So instead the focus should be on in whose presence we are. He is a Nagabharana, he is a master of Maya. He is the one who can shred the wheel of Maya in an instant if he so chooses. But we have to ask first. And we are doing everything except do that. We are enjoying the Maya, we are enjoying his materializations, and we are living that materializations is all that divinity is about. We are refusing to go beyond that. And that, but Swami is enormously patient, you know. He just, one reason why he is called the Jagat Guru possibly is he accepts us for what we are. He doesn't have preconditions. You know, he doesn't have any preconditions. You must have reached this level of spirituality before you come to me. No, he has never given us those kind of thoughts. He said, whatever you are, come to me, I'll take you. Wherever you are, it doesn't matter to me, I'll take you. Whoever you are, it doesn't matter. I'll take all of you together with me to that divine destination. He promises us that. So it is a very important thing. Therefore, we have to keep on getting the contact with him and not go anywhere else. I think I have just 10 more minutes. Yeah, okay, let me say. So I just want to conclude with two very important lessons which we have to keep in mind to avoid this pitfall of sensing Bhagwan with our sensory organs rather than with our spiritual heart. The first thing I would like to say is, most of the time when these miracles happen, we start comparing. Maybe analysis goes on. Maybe this is what this person did, that's why he got, I have not done it, I have not got, those kind of things. So some kind of a comparative statement keeps coming. This person got only Vibhuti, this person got an entire watch materialized by Swami. Everything what I'm telling you are discussions I was privy to in Parthi. That's why I'm sharing these with you. They happen. You know, when devotees start going back, you know, they start telling, instead of discussing in a long, tough time on how beautiful time they had with Swami, discussions come. I got a ring, I got a watch, which company is the watch? I got a Citizen watch, and that watch, we don't know what brand it is, never heard about it. What kind of discussion is this? But that's what happens, comparisons get us nowhere, and we start feeling bad. Arey, I am going to Nagar Sankirtan every day. I attend all the bhajans. Whatever work in the Samiti is there, I do it so sincerely. Swami just gave me Vibhuti and let me go. That person appears like a guest once in a while. He got an entire watch. These are all discussions that take place. Comparisons. So when we start viewing miracles, manifestations and experiences with the worldly perceptions of sensory organs, comparison is a natural extension of what happens. But comparisons on why certain people are recipient of certain grace from Bhagwan and certain miracles from Bhagwan while others are not, I used to have this kind of an opinion once upon a time. But this is also in my YouTube talk. Some of you would have seen it. I call it the account book theory. Account book theory it is called. My entire perception of life changed after that. And I'm hoping that some of you also it will happen, because I want to share this. You know, because there was a time when Bhagwan called me and told me to carry a message to Mr. Narayan, who was the secretary of the Central Trust at that time. And the consequence of that was one very elderly devotee couple, whom every one of us found to be very, very down to earth, devoted to Bhagwan, would never really waste their time, you know, discussing nonsense and other things. They were asked to leave the ashram. So I was particularly very upset because I knew both of them, and I wanted to know, you know, how I became responsible, possibly because of the message I carried, that these people were asked to go. Swami saw that I was undergoing some kind of internal trauma. So one day he came and asked, what happened? I said, Swami, this is what because of what I carried, these two were asked to go. And I'm feeling a little sad that I unnecessarily contributed to two devoted couple leaving your presence. Swami said, what makes you think that they are sad because they left the ashram? Have you considered the possibility that it is good for them if they leave? Now that angle I never thought. Then I kept quiet. Then I said, but Swami, I still have one doubt, I think, which I have to ask you now. Then Swami said, what? I said, Swami, how is it that some people who are so devoted to you follow the scriptures and follow the religious practices and spiritual practices so sincerely, they are unable to get anywhere close to you? Of course, what I didn't ask him is, how is some of the worst scoundrels get it so easy with you? I left that unanswered for Swami. So I asked Swami, how is it that they are not able to, they pray so much, we see them, they attend bhajans, they are always such devoted people. How is it that you never give them a chance to approach anywhere close to you? And Swami just saw for me for some time and he said, Kurcho. Because what he was going to narrate to me was going to blow my brain off. So I think he sensed it, he said, sit down first. Sat down, then he said, I'll tell you in a way in which you can understand, Swami said. Swami said to me. So, and I'm now sharing it with you. So Swami said, you want a loan. You go to the bank. You tell the bank, you give a requisition saying, I want this much of amount, please give me. Will the bank immediately give you the loan? I said, no, Swami. What's it the bank does, Swami asked. I said, Swami, first they will see how much am I earning. With my own ability, how much am I earning? What is my savings? How much is my bank account balance? All my earnings. Then based on that, they will compare it to what I am asking and accordingly decide whether they should give anything, how much they should give or not give at all. Then Swami said, yes. So this is the first column, your earnings, your efforts. Swami said, any other way the bank will give you the loan? I said, Swami, sometimes they ask for collateral. Swami said, yes, collateral. That means this is property which your fathers and forefathers have earned and left for you. Properties, estates, gold, jewelry, landed properties, etc., etc. And Swami said, if, let us say, you have not been able to earn enough in the bank, and what you are asking for is a very huge amount, then the bank will look at the second column, collateral. How much of collateral do you have so that in case you can't repay the loan, they will attach the property? Any other way, Swami asked. I said, not I am aware of, Swami. And Swami said, there is a third method, guarantor. If some gentleman or lady comes and tells, Swami, in case this person doesn't repay the loan, they tell the bank, this person can't repay the loan for whatever reason, I will repay it on his behalf. Guarantor. So he is a guarantor. So the bank will then give the loan what you are asking for. Swami said, is there any other way other than these three ways? I said, no, Swami. Swami said, spirituality is exactly the same. Now this is where I request all of you to please listen carefully. First column, my bank balance. How much am I earning with my efforts? That is my karma. How much of karma you have done in the past, present, how much have you accumulated? First column is that. So when we say, Lord, I need your grace, please give me your grace, I need your help to overcome this situation, so God sees that column. Let us say that for what, of course, if we have done lots of punyam, lots of good karma is pending on our side, God's grace, God immediately responds to our prayer and He gives it. Suppose if it happens that the first column is not sufficient, He goes to the second column. Collateral. What is collateral? It gets more interesting now. Collateral is what our fathers and forefathers have earned. The Swami very clearly said that someone in your generation, if they have done some enormous good that helped a vast section of humanity, God showers huge amount of grace on that family, such that not only that person, but generations after him in his lineage, they will take the benefit of that. Collateral. They can still get the benefit out of that. That is when I understood the statement. Many times when Swami used to bless certain devotees, he said, Tarataralaki ni Bhagavantudu anugraham dandiga undugaka. May generations in your family have enormous grace of God. That is when I understood what the meaning of that statement is. I have also heard the revered Shankaracharya of Kanchi, Kamakoti and all these Pitams also bless their devotees like that. In Tamil, of course, but when they translated, they said, that they are blessing that may generations in your family have Mother Goddess's grace in great abundance. That is when I understood what it means. The third column is, you will never guess this. Swami said that let us say that whatever merit was there in your family has been washed out. You have not accumulated sufficient merit. There's a third column which Swami waits and sees. I said guarantor. right? Bank loan was guarantor. Now guess in spiritual parlance who that guarantor is. If you have seen my video, please don't talk. This is for those who have not seen the video. Who is the guarantor which God looks out for? Guru is one answer, okay. Conscience, okay, 2. Pardon me? God himself is giving grace. Why will he stand a guarantor? Faith, okay, 4. 5. This is the interesting thing. Swami says, if first 2 columns are blank when you ask for God's grace, God starts listening. Anywhere in the world, is anybody praying for your welfare? If somebody says this person is so good, he has helped me and the humanity and other people so many times, may he always be happy, may he always be safe, that is a guarantor God looks out for. That is when the biggest truth of everything hit me. Why does Swami lay so much of emphasis on seva? Love all, serve all. He is giving us that opportunity so that whenever we do the seva, seva has nothing to do with us. Physically, at this physical plane, we get nothing out of seva. I told you seva is for paraloka. Duty is for ihaloka, seva is for paraloka. So the seva opportunity, Bhagavan has blessed it as the greatest tool of this Kali age because he is helping us build the 3rd column. That is the only thing we have in our hand. First column is in our hand, 3rd column is in our hand, 2nd column is never in our hands. So he is giving us an opportunity. Kuru punya mahoratrim for us also. Keep doing punya so that the first column keeps accumulating. 3rd column, keep doing seva. The 3rd column also keeps building up. That's an enormous truth hidden behind. And Swami said, therefore, if all the 3 columns are blank, why will God even bother listening to you? He will not listen. That doesn't mean his grace is not there, once again, basically. Basically, when I say listen to you, he will help us to find the correct part and put it in the right way, so that we will receive the grace. The question here is not about whether it is raining God's grace or not. That is always there. The question here is whether we are able to find the correct part and put it in the right way to gather that grace. So when Swami responds to our prayer, this is what he does. It's a very important thing that he said, and a very important thing which we also need to remember in our daily lives. And a last thing before I would like to, 5 minutes, okay? Yeah. Before I want to close, is this that many times we wonder now whether the sadhana and experience of miracles, is there any change in it now that the physical form is, Bhagavan is not there with us? Is there a difference in the perception? The question is, reception of the miracle was always the same, whether Swami was physically there or not there. There's no change in that, about how we are expected to perceive a miracle. Because, once again, many times when people ask me, is it that Swami has not there physically now? How do we experience miracles? What kind of value we should attach to miracles and all? It's the same. Everything has always been the same. Because, God has never come and gone. It is we, the creation, who is coming and going. He has always remained where he is. His power of being enormous, omnipotent and omniscience is not to be belittled. It is a matter of fact that it is. There are several experiences I can tell you, but there's one experience of one particular faculty member I will tell before I close the entire thing. One afternoon I was standing there, a faculty member came and he had a brother-in-law who used to stay in Korea. And he came and that brother-in-law had a dog. That dog, was a pet in the house and it used to be like a family member. Pets in our house most of the time, they're like our family members only. And this person was very attached to the dog and the dog unfortunately died. So this person wanted to know this, if when somebody in our family expires, we do Annadanam and all those things, right? Shraddha, like we do a small puja and then we give Annadanam and all those things. So he wanted to do that in Korea. But it was a dog that died. So his doubt was, will I be committing some sin if I do the same things for a dog instead of a human being? So he asked this faculty member. This faculty member wrote a letter and he came to the mandir. He said, Sainath, I have to give a letter to Swami. Can you please ask? I said, yes, sir, just wait here. I'll go and ask. So I went to Swami and I went and I didn't know the entire story. He just told my brother-in-law had a dog, it died. So I just want to give a letter to Swami. So I went inside and Swami was busy reading some other letters. So I told Swami, so-and-so has come, he has a letter. Swami looked at me and said, his brother-in-law had a dog in Korea. So the dog is now expired. So that person wants to know whether doing Annadanam and other things is acceptable or is it a sin. See, a life form is a life form. It has also merged with me only. So there is no harm in doing Annadanam and doing pujas for it. Tell him nothing will happen, you do it. Now what's the natural assumption I'll have? This person has already spoken to Swami in the morning darshan, right? So he maybe he would not have got any answer. That's why he's coming now with the letter. So I just went outside and I told, sir, Swami said you can do, and I started going back. He called me, yes, hey, come here. So I went, do what, he said. I said, it seems the dog died and he wanted to know whether Annadanam and other things can be done. Swami said that it's also a life form, it has merged in him only. So Swami said you can do it. He stared at me. He said, do you know that the dog died hardly half an hour back? He just died half an hour back and the brother-in-law had just called and this person wrote a letter and he came here. Swami already knew about it. He had already knows about it. So then I got shocked so much, and Swami was waiting for me, almost like, hey, I let my divinity by mistake, like that. Now the moment I came back, Chepesava, he said, that means, have you finished telling him? I said, yes, Swami. Buddhiledu, he said. That means, it's just like saying, I just dropped my cloak of Maya, to reveal something which I should not have revealed, like that it was. So, but it also told me about, driven home this very, very important thing. This divinity always chooses to express these kind of experiences because of their enormous love for us. Not because we are great and we are binding him with our prayer and all those things and we are attracted. So whenever a miracle happens, let us be humble first of all. Humble, that we have been chosen to have this manifestation of the divine love from our side. And number two, let us keep it simple. Because a miracle has been manifested, it's an opportunity for us to introspect first. What happened? What is Swami trying to convey to me? Let me experience the joy of Swami's manifestation with my heart, but also let me do my sadhana to see what is the hidden message which Swami is trying to teach me over here. So this is the right way of taking a miracle. This is the right way of perceiving a miracle, and this is what is going to create an enormous impact on the sadhana that we are doing. So I would like to conclude here, and I was told that yesterday some questions are there, but we do not really have time now. There are some questions she's already having, ma'am. I think we'll route it in line.
Can I say them now, or yeah?
Up to you. I'm ready. I'm fine.
Okay, sure. What has Swami said about the importance of his work? Importance of his work.
Whose work?
His work in the organization.
His work in the organization?
Yeah, like people do his work, so the question is, what has Swami said about the importance of Swami's work?
Swami's work.
Yeah.
Pardon me? Vice Chancellor, what? That's GV's story, I don't know. Work. No, he said about Swami's work in the organization, or Swami's role in the organization.
That's a question here.
No, the question. Doing organizational work. Yes. Okay, great. I may have to share a very wonderful incident. If you hear that incident, I think the question will answer itself. I will not talk anything further after that. First of all, Swami never said organizational work, your work, professional work should all be seen as separately. They are all one single work designed, to basically take us towards close to God. So if we give the same level of love, affection and significance to all the jobs, tasks that we are being entrusted with, be it be professional, at the home or organizational, Swami said that's the best way to possibly win Bhagwan's grace. Vice Chancellor's conference was taking place in 87. So it was taking place in 87, and all over the country, Vice Chancellors had gathered in India, Puttaparthi. It was about how about integrating human values into the curriculum. And Swami had selected about 9 of us students and 5 professors to look after them. So above the hill, there was a guest house in which, these keynote speakers were put up. The only guest house which was situated in the hill on the way to, now Sai Srinivasa guest house is there in that place. So we had 8 keynote speakers, 4 of them on one wing of the hall and 4 of them on the other wing of the hall. All other vice chancellors were below, in the round block 1, 2, 3 and all those places. So one day before the conference, 2 of us, 2 students and one Professor Jagan Mohan Rao, who was another saint, whom Swami got from somewhere, and blessed us to be his students. One great fine professor, very silent, a karma yogi, that is the right word for him. So this professor and 2 of our students were put on the guest house upstairs. Swami said, you look after the keynote speakers, and the rest of us were rest of the students and professors were looking after the rooms below. So tomorrow is the day of the inauguration, and the day before we were going through the final run-up, of rooms, checking the rooms and everything as usual. After bhajans were over in the morning, Swami suddenly went to Poonachandra Auditorium where all the stock was kept. From where, we were asked to take and give it up in the different halls and other places, rooms and all that. And Swami sent word for all the students and staff who were involved with the Vice Chancellor's conference to come to Poonachandra Auditorium because he wanted to talk to them. So they all went, and some of our brothers who were going to the interview sent a Seva Dal to call us because we were up in the hill. And there were no mobile phones or phones in those days. The only way you could do is run up the hill. So this gentleman came running up, huffing and panting. He said, Sir, Swami is in the Poonachandra Auditorium. He's giving an interview to all the students and faculty who are there. So they have sent word that you should also come. So 2 of us young boys, we also got up and we started running away. And Professor Jagan Mohan Rao asked us, where are you going? He said, Sir, Swami is giving an interview down in Poonachandra Auditorium and, we are going. And he said, then he had a wonderful way of saying things. He said, see, the keynote speakers of this conference are coming here and Swami has entrusted you and I to look after their needs. There is so much of work pending here. Do you think with the work pending, will it make any sense for you to go and sit in front of Swami and show your face? When so much of work is still pending. This is his task. He has given us, he has entrusted us. He is basically banking and counting on us to ensure that we are acting on his behalf to ensure that things are normal. If we leave this and go, we will be betraying that trust. After this, you people do what you want, he said. I said, no, sir, we understood what you are saying. Wholeheartedly, we stayed back. We stayed back and finished the work. Obviously, Swami had left by the time we finished our work. Evening, around 7 o'clock, the first Vice Chancellor was supposed to come. And the last minute preparations we were finishing. So there were 2 wings, like I told you, left wing and right wing. And in between was the main entrance. So I was running from this side to that side with a bunch of pillows and blankets in my hands, completely covered. So I was looking down and seeing where I was going. Who would come at that time anyway? No? So, but just to be on the safe side, I was looking from below the pile where I was going. Professor Jagan Mohan Rao and the other student were on the other side. So I was rushing past the entrance when suddenly I saw 2 beautiful feet with orange robe, come in my line of vision below. So it was 6:20 in the evening. Bhajans were from 6 to 6:30. Now for a moment I thought, it can't be Swami. The time for the Aarti, why will he come now? But nevertheless I wanted to make sure, so I just started peeping around to see who it was. I found Swami peeping from the other side to see who is behind this pile. Then I saw it was Swami, because I could see only Swami's back like this. So I dropped everything, I said, Swami. Swami said, oh, Nuva. Then he said, where are the others? I said, Swami, they are on the other side. Swami said, call them. And he just pulled an old, that iron rusted chairs, we had folding chairs in those days. That was the only chair. And I had used that chair to reach the cupboards upstairs. I had stood on it. Swami just pulled that chair. I said, Swami, I had stood on that. Swami, I'll get you one more chair. No kucho, he said, and no pilchu, he said, and he pulled that chair and he sat on it. And he went, I called the other 2. First Jagan Mohan Rao thought I was joking. I said, look, he's there only, I said. Then he saw his Swami was seated and looking around like that, making sure everything was all right. He was sitting on an old rusted chair. So then all of us came, we sat 6:20 over, 6:25, 6:30, 6:35, 6:40, 6:45. Down, people were getting confused. Swami is vanished. He didn't tell anybody where he is going. Should we give Aarti? Should we continue bhajans? We don't know. So they were all waiting. They were going on singing bhajans and Swami was sitting here peacefully with us. And finally he was asking who is coming, when they are coming, everything. As we told Swami, everything ready, all said and done. Swami, he even taught us how to fold the bed sheets, where to put the pillows, where to put the water glass, everything he taught us. And then we did exactly that. He said, Bagundi, Antha Bagundi, he said. And 6:45, suddenly he said, Aarti, time is up now, I have to go. Take namaskar, he said. So we all three took namaskar. He just stepped out and then he came back again. He said, do you know why I came? We thought, okay, to check the arrangements and all, after all VIP guests are coming. But we just stood at Swami and we just were standing like this. Swami said, see, morning, I was there giving an interview to the students and faculty. I didn't find you three people there. So when I asked, where were you? They said that you are busy upstairs working. Morning, Bangaru, you couldn't come, so evening I came for you. You know, how to react to this, we really don't know. Telugu, there is a song, Nanupa alimpaga nadachi vachchitiva, Murala alimpaga nadachi vachchitiva. That means, to grace me, you walked all the way from Vaikuntha. Just for my sake. So he came. He came, he sat, he forgot bhajans, everything, darshan, everything, arati, everything, gave us namaskar and then he went back. But that day I learnt a lesson. Now you asked me the question, the significance of doing work in Sai organization. Sisters and brothers, it's not just the Sai organization. Any work, if we dedicate it to the Lord as our offering and do it with our heart, wherever we are, He will come there. There is no need for us to go hunting where He is, which temple to go, which samiti to go and all that. Wherever we are, He will only come there. That's my firm belief. And that's the belief with which I have always tried to work till now.
Thank you so much. Definitely, it makes sense. Beautiful. I just have one more thing. Is there any message that you want to give to our young adults who have been helping us a lot since yesterday? Anything special for them that you would like to say?
It just makes me very happy to see that the youngsters, are there in the organization with good numbers. We are losing out on them all over the world, actually, in the organization, especially in India, and we are paying a very bitter price for that. So, youngsters, they are in fact, in Canberra retreat when we went, I was told that the singers there were all small children from Balavika's times, they had come up. Now they are singing, they are literally taking over the mantle. And what singing of bhajans, my God, it made me so proud. I have not seen even in India, that this level of youth participation. So you have to be really proud of yourselves. You have to be proud of the kind of leadership and support you are giving to the younger generation, that they are choosing to come and be in the organization. These are days when even the youngsters don't even want to talk about this topic. And you are having so many of them in the organization, not only just coming, they are also participating. So what is the message I can give you? Spirituality is an experience, whose results come very, very slow. They don't come instantaneously. Patience is the watchword over here. If you stick to it, you will discover that you will shape your life much better than what this generation has been able to shape itself. Please have patience. Don't give up. It takes time. It takes time. Don't give up in the process. Don't forget our culture. Don't forget the love which Swami has showered on us. That love that He has showered on us after coming down to this earth is because He still has that hope on us. We will be sinners of the highest order if we betray that trust. So please be with it. Find your own way of how to serve this organization. Most importantly, serve yourself. Patience, I think, is the biggest virtue which I would strongly advocate the youngsters today to generate. I mean, there are many others I can tell, but right now the need of the hour is, I think, this. Maybe sometime in future we'll spend some more time and talk to all of them. Right. Thank you very much. Sai Ram.